Hi there everybody, it is of course Nick, continuing on my series on the subjects of colour. Just one second whilst I turn the speakers down. Okay, now I've sorted that out so you get no more issues of feedback. I've covered red, I've covered black. Now what about white? I mean, white is associated with good, it's associated with something wholesome, it's associated with something that's very pleasant, the opposite of negative, something that we are naturally attracted to. In primitive times, it would always have been the fire light that would attract us. It would be the fire light that means warmth and being together amongst people that you love. So, the color white, when it is representing light, can be symbolic of all the things which is good for us as people and good for society. But what actually is white? Okay, what actually is the color white? I mean, we've got an example of the color white up there, okay, just up there. That little blob where my finger is. And that's just too much light. So much light that it's masking out everything else, okay, it's flooding it. There's too much information, too many colors. I mean, something which is white, an object which is white or has white in it, is not just reflecting all colors, is it? Something which is reflecting all colors could be something like this. Alright? It's reflective, it's a mirror surface. But if this loses its shine, it would seem grey or silvery in color. Okay? It would not seem white, despite the fact that it's reflecting back each and every single color. So maybe it's a question of detail, or maybe it's a question of quality, but the whites that you see on this mug here, and the whites that you see in that blob up there, is a completely different thing to that which is just reflected straight out from a mirrored surface. So what does it mean, mystically speaking? It's brilliant, it's radiant, it's got lots of stuff in it, it is complete. I mean, you can get like apple white or peach white and all the rest of that, but if you're talking about pure white, it'll have a complete balance of everything else included into it. So white can mean whole or wholesome. Okay, but is white really a color if it is a combination of all the colors mixed into one in a radiant manner, or reflecting all the energy of all the different colors of the spectrum back at you? It's also rejecting, though, isn't it? I mean, so just as it is something which represents to us being one with everything, okay, it is also rejecting. Something which is white is reflecting back the whiteness. It's reflecting back all of the energy that you see in this blob which is above my finger here. Okay, reflecting everything back, it's rejecting it. It's not black. Black absorbs and therefore gets warmer with all the energy which is absorbing. White just reflects back. Okay? So the object itself rejects, but it gives the impression of kind of like being welcoming or inviting. So if you're thinking about the color white in meditation, you got to think about whether you are the thing which is, the radiant ball of white light, or whether you're being attracted to the radiant ball of white light, or whether the radiant ball of white light is working like a physical thing, like things in the physical world, or whether it has different properties which overrules the rejection type message that white light has. Okay? And also, the light which comes from the sun. It's got all of the information in the frequencies of light from what created it. Okay, so when we experience brilliant sunlight reflecting off a white surface, we're getting some kind of record to a certain degree of all of the nuclear reactions which have happened in the sun. So maybe white is also a means of communication of some kind of information. So the message that we could have through visualizing brilliant white can be very varied indeed. It's literally not just black and white, okay? There's lots of different ramifications to what it means.